Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I got burnt on my nose, hence the Rudolph behaviour. But today I want to do a follow on from my coronavirus the vlog, because it is just a hot topic at the moment, isn't it? Everyone's talking about it and there's so many conspiracies going around, and I wanted to cover a few of the conspiracies because, you know, it's just like I can't really form an opinion because we just don't know what's going on. There's so much that the government could be keeping from us. We don't know shit. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, let me just cover a few of the things that are going around in my head. So conspiracy theory 1. This whole coronavirus thing has happened because we are trying to reduce the population. As you know, as a species, we are growing at a rapid rate, and, you know, overall, like, thinking, can the earth sustain all these fucking people, especially with like the amount of pollution and the amount of like food waste, the amount of human waste? Like, can we survive as a race going the way we're going? And I don't think we are, hence fucking global warming. Do you know what I mean? And there's so many like natural disasters that have happened over the last like 5-6 years that makes me think like we really are the cause of our own destruction. Do you know what I mean? Because the shit that's going on right now is mad. Obviously, we've had fires in Australia, fires in Brazil, fires in California. We've had locust swarms in Africa. We've had coral reefs that are almost like disappearing because, you know, the flipping litter and the pollution that's in the sea. It's just a bit mad. So overpopulation, I definitely think that it could potentially, especially it happened in China, guys. You know what I mean? China, bearing in mind, we've got 7.6 billion people in this world, right? Or on Earth. And something like 1.4 billion of those are in China itself. If you wanted to flipping cause an outbreak anyway and kill people off quick, China is the way to fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? Don't mean to put anything in anyone's head, but it would be the place to do it. That shit fucking happens quick. And I was chatting to my mum and dad about it the other day, and we were like, obviously they had the law where you could only have one child because obviously the issues of overpopulation. And it's just weird that that's happened, and that law's been diminished there for a while now. But now, do you know what I mean? Like weird shit like this is happening. So I'm pretty sure they've been eating bats for time, you know. It's not something that's been new, but obviously this one incident has caused a fucking global outbreak. So I just think it's a bit mad, isn't it? But overpopulation, I think this is, especially because it's targeting old people. Like, it's not just targeting old people. Obviously, we know that all ranges, and doesn't matter who you are, what you are. Do you know what I mean? This shit can get you. But majority of the people dying from it are people that are old and have like flipping weak immune systems. So if you were to kill off populations, you wouldn't kill the young people, you'd kill off the old people, wouldn't you? But yeah, so that's one theory, overpopulation. Another theory is vaccines. So I've done like research over the last few years about vaccines and the impacts they have on humans, and there's obviously loads and loads of conspiracy theories claiming that, you know, like certain vaccines have actually caused people to like their DNA to either like mutate or like restructure, and that's led them to have ADHD or autism or other, you know, health difficulties. So in America, it's a huge thing. Like, so many people are refusing to get vaccines that, like, their theory over there is that this whole outbreak has been caused so that you have to, it's compulsory, you have to have the vaccine for it to obviously stop it from spreading. But people are worried that what they're being actually injected with will obviously form some kind of protection, but like ultimately what is it that you're injecting people with? And unless you come from medical background, you're not going to fucking know, are you? Because people lead on fear. You know, you don't want your child to get measles, you don't get your child to get mumps, vaccinate. And I'm not saying that all vaccinations are wrong, because they're not. Obviously, like, a lot of them we have now because of previous diseases in olden times that have led people to die very young and so on. So like, it's just weird, isn't it? Is it a potential risk, do you know what I mean, to get not being able to refuse this vaccination? Like, what are you putting into people? Like, you just don't know, do you? So that's another one that's on my list. So the massive one, the huge conspiracy theory that everyone's talking about, yeah, is 5G and corona. So this is difficult because, like, I personally don't see any relation into 5G and corona. Like, I think that's just obviously my personal opinion, like everyone's entitled to their own, as you know, but like, proper to put it like into perspective, do I think that 5G towers and coronavirus are related? I think when it comes to radiation and immune systems, it could kind of be related, but I don't feel like there is a proper correlation between the two. So some people are saying that, you know, the reason we're in lockdown is so 5G towers can go up and ratata. Like, I don't really understand the correlation between the two, like I just said. But from my perspective, like, 5G in itself, not in relation to corona, is dangerous. So I've read loads of studies that have said how 5G is 20 to 30 times, emits 20 to 30 times more radiation than 4G does, yeah? And I was sitting there trying to put things into perspective the other day, because sometimes I just run wild with it, innit? Especially after a zoo, like my mind's just gone everywhere. So I was sitting and I was proper deep in it, yeah, and I was just like, okay. Because radiation, as we know, is bad. Like chemotherapy, for example, like I know it's used to obviously attack, you know, cells in order for the body to regenerate. Do you know what I mean? It's used for cancer patients, but you see how sick they get from that radiation. Do you know what I mean? And some people even fucking die from it. So that's powerful. That's obviously it at like a fucking, was it like an incubated rate? Do you know what I mean? Like, that shit's crazy. So obviously we have radiation. We know on some sort of level it is bad for us. Like, we know it is. And so I was sitting there and I was just like, okay, I was like, how many people are in the world? So around 7.6 billion people in the world. For those of you who don't have a really good understanding of like, or a good perception of like how large a billion is, obviously 60 seconds is a minute, yeah? 1 billion seconds equates to 32 years. Okay, so on a scale of how big fucking a billion is, that's large, yeah? So I'm sitting here, I'm deep in it, and I'm like, okay, so how many people in the world use a mobile phone? And I don't mean like it has to be a smartphone. Any sort of mobile phone emits radiation, right? 5 billion of us use a mobile phone. So you are trying to tell me that 5 billion people all pushing these signals and all pushing this radiation at a 4G level, do you know what I mean? Even at a 5G level, at a 4G level, isn't going to have some long-term impact on us? Because it obviously it's going to, do you know what I mean? And we haven't had this sort of stuff, technology around for, you know, large amounts of years. So how would we have known whether it would be affecting us in a negative way? Like, how would we know? Because we haven't tested it for that amount of time. Do you know what I mean? It's all well and good being like, oh yeah, sitting there doing a test, yeah, it's not harmful. Yeah, radiation at that small rate is not harmful for that 2 seconds that you've just fucking exposed me to it. But for the 20 years or 30 years or whatever that we've had mobile phones, like, you can't tell me that rate isn't going to be, you know, like, detrimental, like, to our health. So then it was just all it's just a bit weird, because obviously if you don't know, like, nature, like, it all connects. They all kind of have their own like telepath vibes, you know what I mean? Like, they communicate through roots, you know, through fucking nature, through noise, do you know what I mean? Like, and I've seen videos of so many birds dropping down dead, yeah, like in Italy, Wales, India, like in large amounts, do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, why the fuck are these random birds just all dropping down and dying, like literally by the hundreds, yeah? Which I just find weird anyway. We aren't up there, like our signals and our radiation and shit, that's up there. So I'm like, that's not good. And then, like, I've seen some videos as well where, you know, certain like towers have been put up near nature, and there's like, say like there's a tower here, there's a tree here. We're in spring, everything's meant to be blooming. There's no leaves, there's nothing on this tree. This tree is still dead, but there's a tree next to it that's not as close to, you know, this tower emitting radiation or emitting any sort of energy, and it's fine, so it's further away. So I personally believe that there is definitely some, you know, negative effects of the amount of radiation we're emitting using fucking our TVs, our phones, everything in it. Like, it all emits technology. Just, yeah, you know, you're not stupid. It's like microwaves. We shouldn't really use microwaves because obviously it's good, it's convenient, but like having all that energy, and it's like fake energy, do you know what I mean? It's like to warm up your food, like it's bad. But I know a lot of people don't use microwaves. I still use them. Do you know what I mean? I probably shouldn't, but I do. But then I got to thinking, yeah, and I was just like, okay, I was like, so when was the first, like, sorry, this is, my mind literally just runs off on shit. But then I started thinking, yeah, I was like, when was the first, like, cancer, you know, ever recorded. And then when I first started reading up, it was all like 1775, like the chimney sweeps and stuff like that. Like they used to get cancer from inhaling like all the fumes and that, from cleaning up the chimneys. But then I was just like, okay, and then I done a bit more a bit further digging, and it was like 15,000 BC, and it was an Egyptian. Obviously Egyptians were mummified, so they'd be able to test, and they'd be able to test for things a bit better than they would, you know what I mean, like a corpse, from if they were ever to find a corpse that old. So anyway, chat shit. So I was like, okay, I was like, right. So I was just like, so 15,000 BC. Then I was like, when was Egypt leading in technology? Do you know what I mean? Because they were literally leading the world at one point. And then that came up at 1570 BC, yeah. And then those of you who don't know, or don't really have a like deep understanding of the Egyptians, like, so the pyramids of Giza, they are actually in correlation to the stars in Orion's belt, and it's formally, you know, been claimed that the pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx were actually a communication portal for us and extraterrestrial beings. So then I was wondering, I was just like, was the communication between us and the extraterrestrials emitting radiation that obviously gave the Egyptians cancer, like cancer cells? So obviously I was running away with the fairies. Well, not running away with the fairies, but I'm just interested to know, because if you look at all the like the hieroglyphs, is it hieroglyphs? Like the drawings and the paintings and stuff in like the pyramids, like it's all about communicating with God, do you know what I mean? Osiris and Anubis and stuff like that. So I'm just like, I'm very much intrigued about it now, because apparently, like, through us growing as humans, like we've kind of lost communication with the gods, because we've kind of taken things into our own hands, so they don't communicate with us like how they used to communicate with us, do you know what I mean? Like if you look back in like pretty much any culture, there's always these drawings, or do you know what I mean, these communications of us, do you know what I mean, connecting with extraterrestrial beings. They are the people that paved the way for us, do you know what I mean? They gave us the knowledge for certain technologies that, like, the fucking people always but we always talk about the pyramids, like how the fuck were they even formed, do you know what I mean, back then? And you can't tell, like, I don't know, I'm just running off into my own head, but all I'm saying is, if you don't watch Ancient Aliens on History Channel, fucking watch that, innit, because that shit will have you popping. But anyway, guys, so I don't know the real reason, the real conspiracies behind corona. I just know 5G is bad, we are overpopulating as a nation, as a fucking world, and vaccines could potentially be bad, but we don't know, because I don't have the medical history and I can't fucking test them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I've got some of you thinking, hopefully I've got some of you doing a bit of research, because what else have you got to do during this time? So have a lovely day, and if you want to see some more videos of me just what goes on in my head, really, then hit me up. I'm also going to be doing a tour on all my pets soon, because I've got a lot of fucking pets. You can't see Leppy because he's sleeping, but I got a leopard gecko the other day, and he's the cutest little thing. He's really cute. And yeah, I got a bearded dragon the other day, and I just got loads. I just need to do a tour. I need to do the little personalities of all of them, because yeah, shit's lit. But I hope you have an amazing day, week, whatever it is you're doing, guys. And if you like the video, please share, subscribe, show your girl some love. Do you know what I mean? It's nice to be nice, and you're supporting me, which I will appreciate very, very, very much. I want people to just, yeah, see my shit, if I'm honest, because hopefully I know I've touched a few people, but I want to touch more. Do you know what I mean? I want to touch you well, baby. Goodbye.